Hello there, I'm Taisia, a fashion content creator with a vintage, classic, with a touch of romantic style. It's been almost an year since I went viral on social media and haven't had the time to properly introduce myself. My mission here is to empower you to wear confidently what you love and to rediscover yourself through this fun process. I will try to share the key moments related to my passion for fashion, but I will also include other details about my life. So let's proceed. I was born in Moldova, a small country with a unique charm located in Eastern Europe between Romania and Ukraine. You can't help but love the four seasons there, the landscapes, beautiful language, delicious dishes, and last but not least, the traditions. I am the second of 5 children in my family, 3 girls and 2 boys. Since I was about 3 years old, my first preferences in terms of clothing became apparent. I would throw a tantrum when I wasn't dressed the way I wanted, insisting until I was allowed to wear what I desired. Being born in a family where my father was a priest, the required uniform consisted of skirts and dresses. And I only got my first pair of jeans in the 6th grade, which I was allowed to wear only once a week. In this way, dresses and skirts became a part of me, and I learned to wear them with confidence. My mother had a significant influence on how I dress right now. She always wore flowy long dresses, accessorized with scarves, and I actually at that age considered her a fairy, a princess, a divine creature that embodied femininity, beauty and kindness. But actually, I started to wear her dresses more confidently only when I graduated from high school and went to a summer camp in the mountains. Why? There girls naturally dressed in midi-maxi skirts, and this aspect gave me the confidence to wear my mother's dresses not only at home but also in public. I always prepared my outfits for the next day. I wouldn't go to bed until I knew exactly what I would wear, putting a lot of heart into it. This actually is an important thing for me now, because I can remember the events of a day and how I felt, starting from the outfit I wore that day. I dedicated 7 years to learning piano. This musical background led to my first part-time job in high school, where I started giving piano lessons to little girls. This job offered me the opportunity to purchase things I desired without relying on my parents. During this period, my interest in fashion also blossomed. In the village where I grew up, it was common to take a dress model, either sketched or from a photo, and go with it to a tailor. I had actually a particular tailor, a highly skilled lady who crafted over 10 dresses for me throughout my high school years. The entire process, from taking measurements to buying materials, attending fittings, and finally wearing a dress that had originated as a simple idea held a special place in my heart. The satisfaction from this creative journey was so profound that I eventually trusted my tailor to sew all the important dresses in my life, such as my graduation dress and wedding dresses. I had 2 wedding dresses as a bride, with several years between each creation. I would rather sleep less than go to class unprepared. I was an Olympic achiever in geography and physics, also enjoyed subjects like mathematics, biology, but equally I found pleasure in literature, history and languages. At that time, I never knew where the balance tilted more. When I was in school, I embraced the prevailing notion that I should pursue a career in medicine. The prevalent belief, fueled by teachers, was that high-achieving students naturally gravitate towards medicine. I began to internalize this idea. I studied well, so I should become a doctor. I actually pictured myself as a successful dentist, and this image seemed appealing to me. However, during high school, my passion for fashion started influencing my thoughts. I entertained the idea of attending a fashion school and pursuing a career in fashion design, but I lacked both encouragement and confidence to do it. I felt the need to be pragmatic and choose a more conventional path, one that promised a stable future and not in Moldova. So the medicine idea was also left away. Following my high school graduation, I applied to a university in Bucharest. While I was unsure about the specific field I wanted to pursue, I applied at the University of Economic Studies of Bucharest under the belief that economic studies won't hurt, regardless of my future occupation. I was admitted at the accounting and management informatics. I thought that this would be less demanding. And there we go, finding myself in a new country, surrounded by new people, studying something that did not align at all with my passions and inner feelings. This thing actually gradually eroded my vitality and passion for life. However, being someone committed to completing what I start, I successfully navigated and finished this phase. Deep down, I knew I wanted something else, but I was still afraid to pursue it. In my third year of university, I felt the need for something creative, so I enrolled in a 6-month tailoring course. There, I learned the basics of cutting and got my first sewing machine. I stitched my first basic pieces and gained an understanding of the effort behind each garment. It actually felt like a welcoming break. Let me clarify, there were also positive aspects to my university experience. I excelled academically, had a good standing, and despite the challenges, I managed actually to handle it very well. It became even more delightful when in my third year I had my small group of friends. We supported each other and spent quality time together. Only at that point I came to realize the significance of social life for mental well-being. Always loved being physically active. I took part in Pilates, shifted to weightlifting in university, and at the onset of the pandemic I discovered Pamela. That's when my passion for sports became a routine of 5 times a week without exceptions. And of course, after completing university, within a few months of searching, I was hired as a risk compliance junior auditor. It was a good job with a motivating salary for that period. What attracted me the most to this job was that it was fully remote. The stability the job provided offered me security, and once these basic requirements were met, I could change my life in a direction which I always wanted, and particularly a direction favorable to my development. I started traveling, reading daily, and developing other habits that I couldn't acquire before when I didn't have that routine and lived in uncertainty. We started attending Lindy Hop dance lessons and explored new places in Bucharest, experienced a different side and lifestyle of the city that I hadn't known before. With all that mentioned advantages, my enthusiasm for this job vanished once I realized I didn't want a career in this field where my creative side was not fulfilled at all. I worked from home, and my workplace was in the front of a library where I had my sewing machine. Every time during work hours when I looked up and saw the sewing machine, I was reminded that I wasn't in the right place. After nearly a year working at this job, I decided to do something for myself. I had been flirting with this idea of starting to post on TikTok for a long time. The platform was relatively new. I had a wardrobe full of clothes, which were collected since high school, vintage treasures from my mom, and the skill of mixing styles, which I think I had from the beginning. I knew I could do it. I posted my first video on TikTok in December 2021. It became my obsession in the best sense of the word, and I started posting daily. I began to invest more time and more energy to TikTok and less into my job. My love for fashion, which I experienced during the tailoring course, has now been revived and in a different form. And real results came after a year of daily posting, a period in which I tried various content formats and different styles until I found mine. The reality was that I was living a double life, divided between my job and social media activity. I wanted to dedicate more time to my passion, but I couldn't give up the security of my job. One day, with my first truly viral video, my Instagram account went from 4K followers to 80,000 followers, with messages of support that I greatly appreciated. It was enough to pitch brands with collaboration offers and be accepted. Sometime later, a bit anxious about how things would unfold, with no guarantee of stability in collaborations, I decided to dedicate myself full-time to content creation. In May 2023, I left the job, and I believe it was one of the best decisions made. In summary, this is the brief story of how I transitioned into full-time content creation. After obtaining my driving license in Bucharest, we, together with my husband, set a deadline for a definite move. And now, 2 months later, I find myself in Dubai. I am contemplating creating a separate video to share the motivations behind the decision and maybe to discuss the costs if you are interested. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and following my journey.